Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're gonna do a review on the high-speed MSP. But first things first, shout out to EX Rides for sending out this wheel for me to test. Check out a review of this wheel on his channel. Link is in the description below. So guys, on the surface, the wheel looks no different than the torque version MSP. If you were to put these two wheels together side by side, you won't be able to tell them apart. But trust me, that's pretty much where the similarities end. This wheel is exactly what the original MSP should have been from Gotway. It feels solid with that motor feedback I like from the 100 volt and the 84 volt MSX. Basically, when riding, I can feel the inner workings of the motor a bit. And for me, that's extremely good for feedback. Now, with the torque version MSP, there's almost zero grind, so technically zero feedback. And the torque is just on a different level. In my opinion, these two wheels should not be compared. The torque version is very good at torque, and the high-speed version is very good at achieving high speeds. So here I decided to demonstrate how synced my screen recording is compared to my riding. So a lot of you did ask, how is the torque on the high-speed MSP? Well, it's good, but in terms of immediate torque, like the torque version MSP, it's not so good. Also, this is a very windy day, so I couldn't really get up to speed as fast as I wanted to. Also, I had to slow down on this grate, on this bridge. But once I passed over that grate, I was able to get the wind behind me and reach up to 44 miles an hour. So anywhere from 38 to 43 miles an hour is a good cruising speed. I haven't yet found out the top speed, as I probably won't because this is not my wheel. So will you be able to climb a hill? A big hill? Absolutely. But unlike the torque version MSP, the high-speed version MSP was not designed for this.
Man, the torque is lacking up to a third of the way.
Now, initially I did have trouble climbing the same hill with the torque version MSP, but it wasn't due to the torque, but it was due to the tire, and in fact I had so much torque it actually skidded in place.
Ah, yes! Woo! Ah! Oh my God! Braking is good. Turn around here and start here. Let's see if we can go. Come on! Temperature warning again. Another temperature warning. Oh, I've never gotten that with the MSP or the 84 volt. I'll let it cool down now.
So in terms of getting to, say, 38 miles per hour, the torque version gets you there with ease. Now, reaching 40 miles an hour on the high-speed MSP is also no big deal, but the torque is very noticeable.
So guys, one thing you will notice is the torque. The torque is lacking, both for braking and acceleration. Another thing is, riding this hard, you're gonna overheat it. But I have to check with Jason to see what the actual temp is, the max temp, because I've never experienced an overheat in Boston. I've experienced it in New York, but that makes sense because I rode for miles before I got one overheat. So This is just 3.8 miles, and it's about 77 degrees.
Initially, on my first 3 rides, the beeps never came. It was unreal. Now, after reaching 44 miles an hour and not hearing any beeps, at one point I was thinking, maybe the beep function just is not working, and I was a little bit nervous, you know what I mean? So what did I do? I ended up doing a simple lift test just to be sure the beeps were working, and sure enough, there were beeps. Now, at one point during my second ride, I experienced the most vicious wobble I've ever experienced, and thanks to the big pedals from the Nikola, I was able to hang on for dear life. Now, you can watch my attempt to recreate that wobble in the link above. So I contributed this vicious wobble to 2 things. 1, it was my first time on the wheel. Number 2, the pressure was a little bit too high. Now, after reducing the pressure to about 36, 37 PSI, the wobbles pretty much went away. So let's just say hard emergency braking from like 40 miles per hour was no longer violent, and it was a lot more enjoyable and manageable. Now, the last time, as some of you know, that I experienced a crazy wobble like this was in the 100-volt Nikola when I attempted the same braking at high speeds. And again, if it wasn't for those large pedals, I probably would have fallen off. Crazy, yeah. EX Rev Rides did increase the thickness of the side pads, and honestly, if I were to add a modification to my wheel, it would be exactly that, and the addition of the Nikola pedals, of course. Now, fortunately, if you purchase a high-speed MSP today, you'll be happy to know that it ships with these Nikola pedals. The comfort that these 2 modifications give is definitely worth it.
So far, guys, I can say this thing is a beast. It's a serious beast. You can see I have the pedal tilt back to 4 degrees. It's actually 4.5. This increases acceleration and torque. So, as you can see right here, it's the same as the MSP, but I like this little thickness. This pedal right here is amazing. I can maneuver so much more with this wider pedal. Also, this wobble you guys saw me encountering, this thing allows me to handle it with ease. I don't know if the beeps work, man. I'm at 43 miles an hour right now and it's not beeping. So it makes me wonder, but I know that Gotways have a little power tilt, so I'm not worried about the beep that much. But this is wild, man. This is wild. This is crazy. I love it. Absolutely love it. This is what the MSP should have been. For real, for real.
The thickness of the torque version MSP is already too much for me, so adding extra thickness to that with the current small pedals that ship with the torque version MSP makes no sense. So once again, guys, this is exactly what the original MS Pro should have been. So did I make a mistake purchasing my MSP? The original one? The torque version? I mean, I would have to say yes, because my reason for getting it was speed. I assumed that it would have a much higher top speed than at least the 84-volt MSX. But it seems now that the torque version MSP was meant to replace the 84-volt MSX. So now, if you were to visit ewheels.com, you will no longer be able to purchase an 84-volt MSX. So for those of you out there with 84-volt MSX, collector's item. Save that thing. The high-speed MSP is a creation of Jason from eWheels and Gotway, and is a very good answer, in my opinion, to what we all expected from the original MSP. On some levels, it's really nice to see that someone is listening to us. So thanks, Jason from eWheels. Now, with that said, something important to note here is the drain on the battery as you push this wheel.
Let's see what it says at rest. 10 miles, 10.7 miles, 68. Top speed 44.
Now, I haven't done any specific measurements yet, but based on the areas I ride and how hard I ride, I can say that, yeah, the battery drains pretty fast. Now, I would say the battery drains anywhere from 3 to 5% faster than the 84 volt, for example. Now, that might be an exaggeration, but that's how I feel. So, as an example, I can ride anywhere from 37 to 39 miles per hour on the 84 volt for 4 miles, and I'll have anywhere from 96 to 97% battery left. But with the high-speed MSP and the torque version, the battery would be anywhere from 93 to 94, 95% in a 4-mile distance, riding pretty much the same 37 to 39 miles per hour. Now, this was tested multiple times, so it's something to take into consideration if indeed you insist on pushing this wheel hard for long distances. With the 84-volt MSX, I would say it's probably due to the 18650 cells, which are less dense, but offer more reliability and efficiency at 84 volts, it seems. Whereas the 21700 cells from the torque version MSP and the high-speed MSP offer more performance, but efficiency seems to suffer. So in either case, if you manage how you ride, you should also be able to manage both high speed and range. Just be smart about it, I guess, and ride with less weight.
So this here is an example of me just literally chilling. You know what I mean? No speeding, just relaxing, taking it easy.
Another significant difference to mention here between the torque version and high-speed MSP is that these two wheels respond very differently to emergency hard braking at high speeds. With the high-speed MSP, extreme hard emergency braking can cause the wheel to cut out, which might be due to the motor not having enough torque to handle the downforce during extremely hard braking, where your heels are pretty much forced into the back pedals to offer more stopping power. With the torque version MSP, it's been able to handle everything I threw at it when doing the same hard brake tests. In conclusion, I love this thing. I think it's the perfect answer for range, speed, and portability for a high-performance EUC. I think the biggest win for both machines is the price. Now that we know the price of the Sherman, Gotway X, Gotway RS, Monster Pro, these two wheels, especially the high-speed MSP, makes a lot more sense than dishing out your money on untested high-performance, extremely heavy, which defeats the purpose of being portable EUCs. While all may not agree, the portability factor of an EUC is essential for commuting, going to work, storing, lifting, etc., etc. In either case, choice is always a good thing. With the announcement of all these new wheels, you can be sure that the high-speed MSP will indeed be able to hold its own against these new and improved machines from Gotway and Sherman, at least in the price, portability, convenience, features, and performance department. So, will I get this? There are just so many options right now. And my goal has always been to have at least 3 wheels where performance and range was, pretty much the main factor. But portability is even a much bigger factor for me. I just don't know. But if I were to decide today, I would purchase this wheel tomorrow and add it as a 4th wheel to my list. Thanks again for watching, guys. And if you enjoy the content that this channel puts out, definitely consider subscribing, sharing, and liking. Also, if you'd like to learn how to ride an EUC and live in the New England area, check out ustride.com and sign up for one of our training sessions and get riding. Till next time, happy riding.
I could have improved the range if I had increased the PSI. So remember when I got the wobble, I reduced the PSI to reduce the wobble, but I think I may have reduced it too much. I might have taken out too much PSI because, yeah, that could have helped.